let's talk about that Arteta interview because he's actually just losing his head now.
I think he's probably sick of having the same question about the striker.
Yeah,
which,
I agree.
Which at the end of the day isn't down to him, is it? You think Arteta's in control of all the signings at Arsenal? Do you not think he would have liked a striker?
I think signing like many left backs and not getting a striker at the start of the season. Never mind this past window. Right. Like this. Are we just going to argue with everything? Are we just going to argue with everything I say here? The last 3 years, every Arsenal fan knows that Arsenal needs a striker, and they keep not going for one.
I agree. Yeah. Do you think that's Arteta's fault?
I think he has a big say in it, doesn't he?
I don't think Arteta's...
Right. I think Arteta would have had a decision to make, and I agree with what he made about the Rice signing. It would have probably been, do we go for a striker or spend 100 million on Rice? I would have taken Rice. He's done that.
I don't think that's what... Let's not pretend like we know what goes on at Arsenal.
Well, there's not unlimited money. 100 million is a lot of money. That's probably about amount of money that could have went on a striker.
Most clubs have a director of football or someone who's in control of the signings.
Yeah.
Arteta would have liked to have had a striker in January.
Also,
it's not down to him.
2 points. You know the Declan Rice thing? Like we also at the time needed like a DM. Declan Rice was the perfect fit. He is one of the best DMs in the world. You're acting like it's like the wrong signing.
I don't understand what argument users make it here. I really don't.
You said use 100 million on a striker instead.
No, I'm saying that these are decisions that Arteta will be a part of.
You're acting like Arteta had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he said that was it.
I'm saying I'm on about January. In January, he would have 100% wanted another striker or attacker.
How do you know? How do you know? Because maybe he was saying, let's go end the season and go big. Maybe he was trying to risk it and go with Havertz.
I think you give him less credit than
he would have wanted more depth up front.
Do you guys think that potentially one of the reasons why things didn't get done is because Edu obviously is not at the club anymore?
Maybe.
Or do you think Edo leaving actually has had a bigger impact than we actually think? Do you see what I'm saying?
Sometimes, yeah.
Maybe,
if it's behind
because
the scenes, you never know,
we don't have a director of football at the moment.
Yeah, possibly.
So we're actually looking at. There's a couple. Have we just? Is there one signed yesterday? I saw a rumor.
And also,
we're looking at Dan Ashworth as well.
And also,
he's at a cricket club at the moment.
And also, unless you are actually in the meetings, you only have to assume as a
Lewis
fan.
is in every
meeting.
meeting.
Lewis is in the meetings.
Yeah. You're in the meeting. You were just saying that he wanted
as a fan,
depth.
you have to assume what happens.
You don't think Arteta would have wanted depth?
I'm saying he would have had a choice. Do we go and get someone now who might not be the long-term fix,
or do we wait till
the end of the season and go bigger? That would have been his choice, Tom.
That's not how clubs work.
Of course, that's. You're in the meetings, okay?
No, because were you in the
meetings?
It's
just not how it works.
Were you in the meetings?
Of course it is. If he had the choice, when that Rice transfer happened, you're arguing like, no, that's not how it works. That amount of money is going to get spent somewhere.
Rice? I'm not on about Rice.
No, because you disagree with that as well, and you're saying that's not how it works.
I disagreed with that once.
Okay, so with the Rice transfer, do you reckon he had the choice of going for a striker or investing all this money into Declan Rice?
Sorry, this wasn't.
I don't think that's what would have been the conversation.
They just have an unlimited pot of money then, do they?
What are you on?
There's an amount of money that you can spend in there's an amount of money that you can spend in a window, mate, to be sustainable with FFP. And they have chosen to spend 100 million on Rice. That could have maybe went on a striker. They decided to focus on Rice.
Because at that position, at that point, we did need a 6 more than we needed a number 9.
I'm saying I agree on this decision there, but I'm saying there's many decisions in many windows where they have not prioritised a striker. And that is now biting on the back. So it's like, this isn't a thing that's happened last window where, we should have gotten there. It's been an issue for seasons and windows and windows and windows where you aren't doing it. It's paying
we
dividends.
did. We got Gabriel Jesus and he's underperforming and then we have to get a new one. That's just how the life cycle of football is.
When Jesus signed, everyone was like, that's a really good sign.
He was unbelievable.
We've got a guy who bagged goal for Man City.
Very injury prone, and you haven't looked at the long term with a striker.
But he wasn't that injury prone at Man City, was he? Jesus?
He was in and out.
He was
injured as soon as he
came in.
He's been worse at Arsenal.
He was a good striker.
I know, but
that's a great sign.
When he's with you, he spent half his time out, so you have to fix that issue.
What do you want Arteta to do in January?
What you should do is like us having Callum Wilson out all window. Callum Wilson out all window, and we went and got Chris Wood because we didn't have a striker.
But Lewis,
it wasn't the best option, but we got him.
Do you not think, though, that the board and Arsenal...
Yeah, but you were fighting relegation. That's not even the same thing.
You're fighting for the Premier League. What do you mean?
Yeah, and you think a Premier League winning striker is just available like that?
You had options you could have... This is what I'm saying. This is the choice you had. Do we get a striker who can get us by but isn't a long-term choice? Or we bank on Havertz staying fit, we bank on getting over the line with what we have, and we go bigger at the end of the year.
Yeah, but you can't predict the future unless you know what's going to happen.
Hindsight is brilliant, right?
Yes, but that's part of the job, isn't it? And they predicted they went the wrong way.
Talk, please. In hindsight, it's brilliant, right? So when we we made the decision to try and just risk it, right? We've got the players and then 4 of them got injured within the week. Yeah. That's out of our control, right? You can't just say, go out and get a striker like that, because if you use budget in the January window, that then reduces how much budget you have in the summer window.
That's what I was saying.
So maybe they took the decision, and in hindsight, it's great, right? Wrong decision. We all look back and say, maybe we should have done it.
Yeah.
But at the time, the board and Arsenal made a decision, say, we're happy with the
And
players.
Arteta
Let's
would
risk
have been
it.
involved in that
Let's see if we can
conversation.
do it. And then in the summer, we go for our main target rather than reducing the chance of being able to get our main target.
Yeah,
and
I
get
feel
to our
You're
media
repeating what I
very
said
logical.
and what
January.
Tom disagreed with. You're repeating what I said. That was my point.
We all
That's
agree
what
that
I'm saying. His
completely
choice
wrong.
was. That's what I was saying. His choice was.
No,
with the
we're talking about the club. You're blaming Arteta.
Yeah.
I'm saying Arteta is
And I'm
definitely
saying
a part of that
but
conversation.
I'm
The
saying
guy who's led
hindsight,
this whole
Lewis.
thing, and they went to it like, "What do you think
But
on
it's
this
all well and good you
situation?"
saying-
Arteta will. They will not go to Arteta. The club will
Oh
not
my
go to
God,
Arteta and
you're
ask him
absolutely
about
mental.
financial decisions. Arteta would have said, "Yes, I would quite like some depth." The club would have gone, "Well, it might cost us 100+ million for probably an average strike in January because of like inflation, all that bollocks that goes on in January." At the minute, you've got Havertz who's doing okay. Blah blah blah. Arteta will go, "Okay, we'll wait. We'll try and wait it out until the summer." Then Havertz gets injured.
what I
No,
was
but
saying.
Lewis,
That isn't what you were
Oh,
saying.
it
You
was
said
me.
it's all
If you
Arteta.
weren't shouting over me, you would realise that's literally
the one
what I was
shouting
saying.
over everyone the
Because
whole
you were
fucking-
shouting at me.
Look, I'm
That's
shouting at
that's
you.
literally what I was
Look, I
saying.
can't get a
He had
word
a
in 'cause you're
choice, and he's went the
constantly
wrong
shouting,
side of the choice.
It's not his choice.
Oh my fucking God.
I've just told you, Arteta would have wanted another
know.
striker in January.
How do you know? Were you in on the meetings?
Okay,
What
I'm
you say
guessing.
every time to me?
But
You're
I-
just
because I
presuming.
don't think he's an
We had
idiot.
this-
I don't think he's an idiot.
That's what
Well,
we just.
maybe he is,
That's
mate.
what we just said. We have to assume as a fan, you never know what actually goes on behind the scenes. You can't just say that. Oh yeah, Arteta would have made that decision. Nobody fucking knows until unless they're actually in those conversations. What do you want us to say?
Well,
And you're-
what do
and
you mean?
you're-
Well, okay, let's
unless
not do a
Arteta
podcast.
is
What's
a
that?
literal idiot.
But you're saying that Arteta would have been one of the
I'm saying,
influential voices
I'm
to
saying,
say that.
I'm saying, I think he had the choice. Do we go for a short-term striker here, or do we bank it and risk it and go at the end of the
So
season for
you're
a bigger
blaming
one?
him for Havertz's injury. That's
No.
what you're saying.
What the fuck are you saying?
but look, I think-
I'm saying
I
that's
think
what
the-
I'm
no,
saying
but the
that was his
gaslighting that
shot
you're doing,
before.
we're
That
just
was his
reversing
choice
it.
before I got shouted down by this
But
caveman.
that's not necessarily his choice, though. The point is, I think it's a collective decision within the club. And also, you're saying that they got it wrong. Yeah, that's fine. But hindsight, like, we could have got it right.
Yeah, and it's also not the manager's
You know what I
fault.
mean?
You're
It's
just
like-
trying to pin it on.
Mate, football works. It's like this, up, down, constantly. You can't get everything right all the time. And when someone gets something wrong, you say he's a fucking idiot.
No, I think it is.
he's also
Personally,
got
my
so much
personal
right.
opinion is it was idiotic not to get depth there. That was mental.
That's your
That's
entitled-
like,
club decision,
But
though.
that's-
yeah,
you're
I
entitled
understand.
to
But
your
all I'm
opinion,
saying,
Lou.
yes.
But why are you getting so angry about it? Because
This isn't a football podcast with opinions, Theo. My opinion is that was an idiotic decision by
No
the
one
club and
disagrees
Arteta.
with that. But it's not Arteta. Stop saying
Yeah,
it's
It
the
was
club.
Arteta
It's
who's
not him.
involved
And also-
in the
no, that's-
decision.
Arteta isn't the director of football.
course he's
And also,
involved
like,
He's
in
the first
transfer
team coach.
decisions,
And also,
mate.
He's the
player-
first
Of
team
course
coach.
he's
You don't
involved.
understand how
He
footy
is
clubs work.
involved.
Lewis,
He
and
is
also as a
involved.
hypothetical thing, right? It also could have worked out. Like the
could have.
players could have not got injured, and we could be still doing really well. But
Yeah.
we're not, and we just have to deal with it and accept it.
Yeah, it could have. Well, I don't understand what you're looking at me for a response there. What's the point?
I'm just saying how it works in life.
But you're blaming it. You're blaming it on a person that it isn't.
I'm not. I've never once said it's 100%
Personally to the
Arteta's
blame.
fault. I'm saying he's involved in that conversation, and to say he's not is just stupid. Of course he's involved. He's
Yeah,
the
but
man who's been
you-
spearheading this entire project.
You've just said
from
it's-
you being
you've just said
seventh
it's
to
his
where you are
fault.
now. So when you were in a possible title race in that transfer window, he is going to be involved in that conversation.
Well, no one's denied that.
Yeah, but
Tom.
you've blamed it on him.
Yeah,
You can no. I am. You're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not.
The only name you've mentioned is Arteta.
You're
No,
putting
I'm
words
not.
because I'm not going to sit and talk here about directors and.
But they're the ones-
but they're the
we
ones who have
started this
final say.
conversation.
They're
We
the
started
ones you
this
should be
conversation
blaming.
talking about Arteta
They're
in
the
that
guys in
interview.
charge of these
The reason we're talking about
decisions.
Arteta is we started this conversation talking about his interview. You're just putting words in my mouth and shouting at
and
me
you're
for
saying
those
it's
words.
his own fault for not getting a striker. It wouldn't have been down to him.
If Arteta pressed and said and really forced it, he could have got someone in. He could have. They would have
How
sided
do
with
you
him if
know
he's.
that? No one. We don't know that.
Well, we don't know anything, but then why do you even talk? What do you
Lou,
mean?
Lou, I think
My opinion is,
Lou-
if he really pushed the issue with the board, he has enough leverage with the club with what he's done so
Lou-
far that they would trust his judgment.
But Lou, do you not?
If he was
I think-
assertive enough in those conversations.
I think it's so much more than that. It's not just like FIFA career mode where you can go out and choose any striker. Like you if you're going to throw X amount of money at a striker, you have to do your depth and your research. You can't just go out and, like you're saying, get anyone or a mediocre player. Like we can't just go out and buy £100 million player in
I'm
January.
not saying that. But
So
there
you're saying go out
are
and
there's
get
strikers
like
in the there's strikers in the.
cheap
I'm not a
striker.
scouting network
Yeah, but Lou,
network
my
of
point is
Arsenal.
that
You will have a short list of strikers that you
but
know
Lou,
of.
my point is, right, is that they would have, we don't know, we're not in the meetings, but I'm guessing they would have had a shortlist, like you said, is this worth the risk? I've already explained, do we go down this route of getting it, or do we risk with what we've got?
Especially
You can
when
look now-
before January, whether like my opinion is irrelevant. Like Havertz was doing all right. He
And
was scoring
Jesus was coming
goals.
back. We had Jesus
and they had
come back as
Jesus.
well. Like they just made it. They made
All
it.
evidence
they
was
made
to say that it would be fine to carry on, and then
It's
just
all great.
one shit
It's all
week.
great looking back 2 months later and saying, "Oh, that was a mistake."
No, but the reason the frustration comes, it's not even for me, it's for us.
Why is it
It's
the same
just
for you?
this is a thing that you've seen for ages as a fan base of this one position, and it's key.
But we understand the decision they made, Lou.
Yeah, but I'm saying I personally disagree with that
Yeah,
decision.
that's fine. But it's all well and good saying it now.
Well, I would have said it back in January. What do you mean? I can't speak in the past now. I'm saying you're seeing further and further evidence. You're you're now out of the title race because you're playing a midfielder up front.
To be fair though,
what you're
there's a
Arsenal?
I mean, they have been unlucky with the. I agree. They should have signed a striker in January.
I
but
think we all do. But also,
yeah,
it's
but
it's not up to
easier
us.
said than done as well.
yeah, like, I just think.
This is what like. If I was you as Arsenal fans, I'd be really frustrated, and I think a
Of
lot of
course
Arsenal
they
fans
are.
will
Yeah,
be.
we are. What do you mean?
You just sat here defending them, saying, "Oh, you can't."
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
if you
because
only have
you're
Havertz,
right. It's not
You're
Arteta's
picking
fault.
on the wrong person. We're going to defend a person that isn't due the fault.
it's
Have you
forwards
watched
in
any
general.
pitch side in the last 2
Who
months
did
and
you bring
seen
in?
the
Who did you bring in
frustration on
January?
our
Did they bring
faces?
anyone in?
Like,
Did they bring anyone in?
No.
Like you're in a title race.
Did you?
You're struggling with depth, and you didn't bring anyone in.
The transfer market in terms of players in for
not
the Premier
smart
League was
business half the time, is it?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe not, but
Pretty
like, this is the
barren,
thing.
mate.
Do they want to gamble on one of their? Because Man City next season could easily be back. Liverpool are going to strengthen.
Right.
Arsenal are going to strengthen enough to close
know,
this 15-point
Well,
gap.
a lot of people would have said that last season as well, in terms of when Arsenal finished second and didn't quite get there. People would have said, "Oh, other teams will be back next." Like, Arsenal as a club, they're going to trust themselves and trust their manager. So they'll still be in and around it next year, and then they can strengthen and just go again.
you know, Marmouche, was he always going City? Was that like the predetermined, or could
no
Arsenal have
idea.
gone
No.
in for Marmouche? Then?
possibly,
Was it
but
70
he's not
million?
really a nine
proper
anyway,
nine,
is
is
he?
he?
I know, but
And are you going to go and spend 70 million on a position
Yeah.
you're not? I don't know, but
And you can tell he's not an actual 9 because they play Haaland every game.
Yeah.
also who knows? You might have an agreement with someone in the summer.
Yeah.
You might have agreed.
Exactly.
Perez.
Yeah, and we don't know
Right.
that.
Even if it's not a 9,
no,
you just,
no
need,
fan
you
knows
just
that.
needed goals. It's not even in that position. It's just like goals in general. You needed someone
But you're
who can
forgetting
bring
as well.
that.
easy
Like
just to-
also prior to Saka's injury, he was 10 and 10. Was he? He was over 10 and 10, wasn't he, for goals and
Like
assists?
20, I think.
When did Saka?
He
get
was
injured?
having. Oh,
It's
it's like
before the window, wasn't it?
November.
Yeah, prior
prior
to
to that?
window closing.
Like, do you know what I mean?
December, I
It's
think.
like fucking Liverpool losing Salah. It's their best player. He was on for a record-breaking. He was on for 2020.
Yeah,
it
He
was
was.
just
He was.
before
He was.
Christmas.
He was killing it, wasn't he?
It's kind of
But it's because
It's like you lot losing Isak, mate.
Yeah, it's huge.
You'd
This
be
one,
fucked.
like obviously, you went down that choice, and maybe
And
down,
Gordon.
and maybe at the end of
And
the
Murphy.
season, and maybe at
And
the end of the
Bruno
season,
G.
you get a massive signing. Maybe at the end of the
It
season, you
is.
get a massive signing, and it works like long, bigger picture. It
Like
might have been the right
Tonali up
call.
front.
That's true.
That's what it would be.
No, it's not.
It would be like them
It's like
playing.
playing long stuff up front. Tonali's their starting mid. Marino's not a starting midfielder. It's even worse.
That is
Oh
true.
yeah, fair enough. Like it'd be like Joe Willock up top.
He's
Wait,
beast
he
mode.
was a striker.
Yeah.
It's not what I played him either.
That would be fucking. That would be pretty.
Beast
cool.
mode.
That would be pretty beast mode.
Forest are already 4 points off you now.
They have been for ages, I swear. It feels like they're
Yeah,
always
they've
just there, aren't
been
they?
there.